Well, sometimes when I look at my dog, I just feel bad.
The community they've built around themselves filled with degenerate actors.
When you said that you wanted to have a child with and say that you wanted to, was that fucking true?
Yes. What? Okay, we're gonna do a segment on the dice stuff.
Before we continue, if you enjoy my content or even this video, make sure to subscribe and like the video. It really goes a long way in helping out the channel, as the likelihood of this video getting monetized is pretty slim. Anyways, back to Animation's Secret Depraved in quotes cult. This is dice.org, a group deprived of self-harm tendencies and talks about other alleged morally bad actions. Whilst on the surface, this group has always portrayed themselves as an ARG aesthetic and some kind of a cult. However, it's not so cut and dry when calling it a cult, so I'm just gonna call it a group. However, it's up to you to come to your own conclusions on what exactly you'll name it. As one time in the past, the leader of this group allegedly admitted to it being a cult, but has backtracked on this a lot, as we'll discuss later. From my knowledge, DICE is, for the most part, a Discord group which allegedly involved the advertisements, commercials, and really any media promoting the group claim it to be a lot of different things. However, among these lies two main themes: safety and family. The group posed itself as a place where younger people could feel at home and safe. However, whether the group actually fulfilled this purpose or was instead a breeding ground for immense degeneracy is entirely up to your own interpretation. On top of these external advertisements, we also get an insight as to what people would see if they actually joined the group. To be more specific, the chats. In an ad, they claimed 6 different chat channels existed, but that some may become unavailable. A few of them aren't really much cause for concern, they just seem to be normal or general chats. But there were 3 that appeared to be incredibly suspicious. From one marked as a quote NSFW chat, one that was supposedly for and for age regressors of all things, as well as a chat to top it all off. I think anyone could agree that this server appeared severely alarming. Continuing on, let's discuss the server rules. The first of which being to respect your leaders, do what they say, and follow their orders. Whilst on the surface, this seems to be a normal rule for a Discord server or for any group, organization, or even a company for that matter, the wording is very vague and aggressive. When you say do what they say and follow their orders, it leaves out a very necessary but less spoken about component that this should be done within reason. The second rule, respect helpers, other members, don't be rude to them, is very lukewarm, and there's not really a lot of critique there. The next one, add trigger warnings before sending something potentially triggering, is much the same. And tell the leaders if you decide to leave is somewhat reasonable, but functionally useless. The final rule pretty much just reinforces the server's theme, which on the surface makes the server not seem all too bad. But the confusing and scary nature of the first rule, it wasn't just a fluke. In fact, it may have been a warning for the depths of depravity in which the server would harbor. Upon further investigation, the group has even gone as far as to make renditions of uniforms the group members would wear. Having a set outfit for server members is definitely weird and bizarre to say the very least. And when you realize there are set outfits for each member type, it began to set the tone for what the server would be like. The outfits include the leader, helper, dedicated, and as well as a member piece. However, what's even more alarming about these outfits is the poster upon which they are shown, with quotes displayed like, "We will guide you," "We can help," "We devote our lives to DICE," and "We are proud members of DICE." It definitely began to appear a whole lot more cultish. However, what if I told you this group didn't just stay online and was taken into the real world? Upon even deeper research, things were far more weirder than I could have ever even have predicted. Let's start with how they promote themselves. If it's not putting the number 20 in your username or even putting it on cake, then how about graffitiing the group's name, symbol, or even ways to contact them? Or about an even better example, the group's leader. Meet Mortis, a claimed to be 14-year-old and leader of this group. If all the allegations displayed are accurate, this individual has done some pretty horrific things. Mortis has been told to be a fan of Birdie, from Birdie himself, even if it doesn't mean much. Mortis, before Birdie joining, allegedly put out a tweet talking about them, either an actionable plan or a ridiculously overly edgy tweet. Mortis has, at the least, allegedly done one of the things listed, as she threatened a game over if Birdie didn't respond to them. The leader, besides all of that, has some pretty heinous allegations against them, starting with leaked DMs from a person named Dreamer, where Mortis allegedly admits to tolerating or promoting animal abuse. Hello, someone has told me that you're promoting animal abuse. I did a quick search on your profile, and I could only find one thing relating to that. I have, however, found something that appears to be some pro shipping. I wanted to bring it up with you in case anything here is wrong. Screenshot in question, by the way. Definitely. If you don't like that, you can leave. You support animal abuse? Why are you asking this stuff if you're just gonna be so sensitive about it? I mean, I'm not affected by animal abuse. Lol. Excuse me, I'm just clarifying that you support animals. Yes, correct. Okay. Guessing that means you support is true too. Absolutely. I don't support these, I tolerate them. Alrighty, thanks for your time, I guess. You're welcome. Please stop being a little bitch about this. Your art looks genuinely thanks. In a confrontation, he allegedly admitted to doing unspeakably inappropriate acts with his dog in one of the worst ways possible, which would make sense why he tolerates it for other people.
I did see your vent account at some point. I saw that one picture of you, I guess, doing your dog. Sorry, that's not funny, I'm sorry. I find it very disturbing, but like...
Okay.
What happened with that? Is that like real legit shit?
Well, I haven't done it for like years.
So you do admit to doing it?
Yeah, I do.
Do you regret what you did?
Sort of.
Can you explain like your regrets?
Well, sometimes when I look at my dog, I just feel bad. I don't know. It makes me feel gross, but at the same time, I still like that sort of stuff, but I wouldn't do it to my dog again.
However, that's not all to the confrontation. Mortis in the confrontation call stated that he had a real obsession with Birdie, saying that he went to extents that other times he wouldn't, and this wasn't a fake obsession, to the point of doing bad things to himself.
My question is, was it all for attention?
My obsession?
Yeah.
No, that was genuine. Like, if it was for attention, I wouldn't have, like, for that. I wouldn't have gone to the lengths. Like, okay, maybe I have, like, faked obsessions in the past, but I never went to those lengths.
After this, we get some insight into Mortis's beginnings, stating that he did have a 70 Bullets account and was his old one.
I had another account called Lieutenant Poop, and on that account, I faked myself, and people believed it. And then they slowly started to find out that I was 70 Bullets, because I, like, told some people, and then I moved on.
Yeah. Is that where everything, like, he would say everything has went down, like, in a timeline of what's happened from now to then? Like, that's the starting.
Yeah.
Mortis then talks about when someone brings it up that on a person named Satan's account, Mortis posted a note of a trans person so that people would apparently think it's cheese pizza. They also clarify that they don't have their password anymore.
That was not Satan. That wasn't him in the photo. That was someone else. And that was a cis guy, not a cis girl or like a trans guy. That was just he posted on his story like asking who has the best or something like that, and then that guy just sent it, and I thought it would be funny if I put that on his story because people would think it's... I don't have Satan's password anymore. He changed it.
The next clip heavily ties into Mortis's delusional belief of being a god, believing they are immortal, and in quotes, they are just better. When pushed back on this, Mortis says, well, maybe I should just sacrifice myself to be a true god. And last but not least, they apparently like people listening to them and obeying them. Nice one.
Why do you believe that you're worthy of being quoted to God?
I'm just better. I'm better in a lot of ways. I always know what is right, and I don't know, if I'm able to create a community this big, then there has to be something special about me. I have to be a god because no one else has done as many things as I have. I'm just better. I'm better in so many ways. I'm above everyone.
And how is that? Like, you have to have a reason.
I just am. I'm nice only to people who are nice to me, because I don't take anyone's bullshit. I don't know. I'm a generous...
I hate to say this or put it in any means. What if I had my own cult, okay? Let's say, and I say I'm God, and I'm God because I've made this many achievements, I've made this many stuff. Am I higher than you?
Of course not. Yeah, no one is. And it may not look like I have many accomplishments now, but this is only the beginning, and I'm not gonna stop, because I'm just better, and there's gonna be a lot more that's gonna come.
All of this reinforces what we have talked about so far. A person that is delusional and believing that they're God, and posing as a cult to fulfill their fantasies, when in reality, from everything I could find, is just an overly edgy Discord server that's a disgusting cesspit and is pretty much a wannabe cult. What's even more concerning is a alleged screenshot of Mortis allegedly liking a picture of a next. So edgy, so based. Or how about even more proof of them doing, well, the deed with their dog? With this screenshot where they say, well, to be honest, blank is hot. It is. I kind of totally have not committed bad on my dog once. Besides that call, let's dive a bit deeper and get into the Google Drive. To begin, there are some pretty strange replies displayed in the Google Drive from Mortis. All these screenshots seem to come from a website called QuoMe. The website is described as a social media service that allows people to anonymously ask questions about users. People asking questions are not required to join. The messages displayed are alarming. Here are, for lack of a better term, the highlights.
You're amazing. You're God. I'm in love with you. I'm obsessed with you. I'm addicted to you.
Thank you. You should be.
Please be our God forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. We all need you. Those who say they don't just don't know they do. Be our God until the end of time.
I will. I always have been.
I love you. I want to kill one of my animals for you.
Thank you.
I'm going on here because I don't want to bother you by DMing you. I think you might know who this is, but could I get your name or the dice logo on myself?
I don't think I know who you are, and if you're gonna do anything, do my name.
You really inspire me. I love you.
Thank you.
If I were to for you, what would you prefer? And would you like photos?
My name, or something like King. Anything like that. Thank you. I love it.
I'm gonna kill the fish tonight. I hope you'll like it.
I'll love it.
And maybe I'll write on a paper with its.
That's really hot.
I already tried. I want a valid answer.
Try harder.
Do you dead animals? You're not a god. You support animals, and you're a manipulative liar.
That's so cute. Well, you're allowed to have your own beliefs, though regardless of my actions, I'll always be a god. I have dedicated worshippers whom I love so much. And actually, I find manipulation kind of stupid. I haven't used any manipulation tactics in forever, but I do lie when I need to.
I want you to me wrong.
I would still your corpse raw and tasty.
These posts, though can be seen as some ultimate edgelord tier remarks, are concerning when considering the context of them being a leader of a group advertised as a space for people that feel alone and want a safe space. A safe space, and in quotes family, that allegedly encourages and as per the leader. I defend edgy jokes, but in the context to this degree can't really be defended as edgy jokes. This seems to be on the website mentioned before, and not in the context of a group chat or in friends' DMs. These are random anonymous posts. With the alleged tweets from Mortis, or how about even alleged Discord screenshots? These are all very concerning, and in seeing this, people would make videos connected to Birdie. This continues on in the Google Drive. Mortis and the Fallout would release the only known statement I could find, where they don't really respond to much at all. This video was, in their words, to clear up misinformation people have been spreading apparently.
Hi everyone, it's Mortis. Basically, I have like a bunch of stuff to clear up because people keep spreading misinformation and it's really annoying.
They then shockingly admit to having an IP logger and not having it anymore, saying that if they did have it, they would be doxing all of their haters.
First of all, I do not have an IP logger in my card anymore. If I did, I would be doxing literally everyone who comments on my crew, and like the majority of people are just like hating on me, so obviously I would want to dox my haters, but I don't have an IP logger anymore. I had that back in like December.
Mortis is also mad at people telling them to game over, which is ironic considering the alleged responses mentioned before.
I also really don't recommend listening to Floofy on the most parts. They got like a lot of things wrong and are like acting immature towards me. I know that I came at them first, but it's because like I have a lot of people who ask me the same stuff, and whenever I tell them my answer, they tell me to end my life and stuff like that. So I didn't appreciate it. I don't know.
And you join the server in hopes for that, and then you're told that.
I don't feel bad.
Mortis states that they wanted to make it into a cult, but didn't like the fact that they would be named a cult leader.
Also, another like really big point I need to make is that DICE is not a cult. I wanted to start making it into a cult because I thought that would be fun, but I guess people don't want me to do that since they keep like calling me a cult leader and stuff like that. It's an organization, and that's what it will most likely always be.
Mortis also claims that there is no proof to the animal claim, when that's on the contrary. For one, that clip I shown in a previous confrontation, and even an archive of them saying it, something we will talk about later in the video.
Also, people aren't really providing much information, which is like kind of giving me a bad reputation when there's not even any proof. So if you're gonna make accusations, for example, animal, please give like concrete evidence, because I haven't seen that, not once.
Mortis in this response fails to go over every allegation levied against them, which even funnier is that this whole video is apparently unscripted as per Mortis's word. From the alleged tweets to even the other screenshots, chalking it up to just the slurs is either malicious or obfuscating context, or maybe it's just so rushed it can't possibly be a good statement. And to wrap up this whole section, I do have some mixed thoughts on this. On one hand, this person has allegedly done some pretty bad actions. On the other hand, this person was 14 for a majority, if not everything that was displayed against them. Mortis is, if the Wikitubia is correct, the same age as me. Although I'm not condoning the behavior or the actions they are accused of, they were also a minor when this happened. Most likely even a freshman in high school. I would like to assume this isn't indicative of their character anymore online, seeing as they're 19 and this happened when they were a minor. However, I think the information shown so far, or even later in the video, is important as I find it interesting, and there's not really one good place for everything about this topic in a cohesive video. But besides all of that, Mortis isn't the only person in this group who's allegedly admitted to some pretty horrendous stuff. But before we can get into that, to put into a better perspective this whole situation, I actually got in contact with some ex-DICE members. Were you a member of DICE, or did you just look into DICE? I feel like that's a good distinction.
Yeah, no, I literally just saw a video about it. That's how I found it. And I just ended up deciding that I wanted to go and look into it because I was bored.
Yeah.
I was a young child at the time. I was like, what, maybe 16, 17 when it all started.
Do you know of a person named Rusty by chance? Have you seen any of that?
I have seen Rusty, but I have no like new information about that person like at all.
Because I did see that there was a call. Is that like the only thing that's like really available about him?
Yeah, that's like the only thing that I have personally. I think I might have a few older screenshots I could probably find, but from what I know of Rusty, I think he's just completely off the internet, because I called his dad and I told him like everything that he was doing online, and I think that sparked alarm for his family to realize, oh, what the hell?
So the next question is, did you ever like join the server, or was it more like people that were in the server were giving you shit?
So the funny story about that is I didn't get to join the Discord server until I posted on Instagram about it or whatever, because the whole verification process with DICE a long time ago was you're supposed to submit an application through Google Docs or whatever it is, and basically you're supposed to get recognized on Instagram for it, and that's how I got in there, because I messaged Mortis and I asked them, and they were chill with me going. But I was only in there for a short amount of time because they hated me. That was the thing. Every time I joined, they automatically just disliked me. This was on alt accounts, by the way. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, I don't know entirely why, but that's the reaction that I got from DICE every time. So what I kept doing was, whenever I went into the server, I would add people and I would message them and like, you know, start just talking about it, because I was just wondering what it was, really.
I see. And I guess, what was your experience in that server like? What really went down in that server in the short amount of time you were in there?
So from what I've seen, it was a pretty average Discord server, like from what I've seen from it. But there was people like stuff that I've seen from out of it that was like clips of people doing stuff or whatever to their animals, which is like the whole reason why I was looking through it. But what I saw in there was I saw people, you know, posting their face, talking about gore, you know, just weird shit. Sometimes they would say the N-word, you know, they'd be racist and stuff. They would tell people to kill themselves. It was just not good. It was just a bunch of edgy teenagers, to put it nicely. Just being edgy teenagers.
Were the chat or the NSFW chat available then?
From what I understand, they added one and then they unadded one from the time I was in there. But it was only
scared of you leaking because you were like a new member, probably.
Yeah, probably. But the thing is, I honestly think that they had roles specific to specific people where they can access those channels.
Oh, so maybe you just couldn't have seen it because you were...
Because from what I understand, Rusty had one of those roles. So Rusty was able to see like all the chats or whatever and told us about that. At least that's what I remember from the call.
There's always been a claim that he apparently recorded his dog when he... Has there ever even been supporting evidence to show that they actually like recorded it? Because from what I see, it's just the fact that he...
Absolutely. You know the picture I show in the Dicework video that I made? It's a literal screenshot from the video that literally had that happen. So, it's real. I've seen it.
I'll make sure to look back at your video, then I might have missed it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
They didn't, the person who sent it to me did not censor it. So, I mean, like, I mean, I got the full uncut version, basically. I was just, like, very surprised myself. I was like, okay, alright. Police.
Is there, like, sufficient proof that, like, he sent that? Or is it just testimony? Because that's what I have a lot in this Google Drive here, is just a lot of testimony. If
Okay,
that's
so basically, the video does exist. Like, it's a literal video. It's, like, actually there. Like, I don't know about other people's testimonies or anything. I don't know. But I'm just saying that the video is real. Like, I can't send it to you, but I have, like... I have, like, emails of me sending it to the police and stuff. So if you want those, I have those, so, you know, there at least exists, you know?
Actually, yeah, that'd be really good. And then, like, censor the names or whatever, obviously.
Yeah, you're good. I don't know if you heard the call with me and Mortis, but that call was so hectic, dude. I wish I had Frankie here because Frankie was also in that VC call. Frankie's one of my friends who I went to high school with, and he was the one who was like, let's just troll these guys, and I was like, sure, man, whatever.
So, did you see him in the server when you joined? Because I know they're in there for only like a short time, like you.
Yeah, so basically Mortis was Birdie was in there for like a very short amount of time, and not only that, I only talked to them like once. I actually talked to them, I was like, why are you in the server? You know, I asked them, and they were just like, I'm just in here because I'm friends with Mortis or whatever. They were only friends with Mortis, apparently. Like, they didn't, like, care about that server at all. Apparently, the only thing that they were really doing in there was just to be, you know, emo and edgy, because that's how Birdie was back in the day.
That's very weird considering their new response. Because they said that, like, their intention going into it was to be encouraged to there.
Yeah, that's also something that I've considered, because I remember seeing their response, but honestly, it's just like, knowing them and knowing some of the shit they've done before this, it's just like,
they're probably...
I don't know, man. I think you were in there for other reasons. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks like it's from Q.me, and I'm like pretty sure that's where it's from. Do you know if that's where it's from?
Yeah, these are real. These are real. This is literally how I found Mortis, actually. Like, I found these. What started it was these, from what I understand. Like, his popularity, it was just from that website, and then people started, you know, doing that dice shit, I think. That's personally how I believe it started.
I do know, like, a lot of the lore is, like, he had, like, something like a 40 Bullets account, I think the username was, and he had, like, a falling out with, some, like, other leader that they split and made their own, like, groups, I guess.
Oh my god. Yeah, Geo, man. Geo was that little fucking cult leader.
Do you know of him doxing people?
Yes, he's doxed multiple people, bro.
Multiple
Oh my
people?
God.
Okay.
The whole reason why I looked into him was because of what he did, like the last part of Dreamer's video, which is he doxed somebody, and basically the person who I talked to, who they doxed, they basically told me they didn't get doxed. They almost did because they put in the wrong phone number. So they've been really close to doxing people, I assume.
Yeah, because I do know they've admitted to having like an IP logger and shit, so.
People saying that the links were encrypted or anything, I don't think that's true. The reason why is because if that was the case, we would have more doxing, but I think it's more or less like they've just picture grab IP'd people, like I forget what they're called, but they link images and basically you click on that image and it's encrypted and they take your shit. At least that's how I assume that he was getting people's locations, because most of the time, you know, minors aren't very intelligent and they don't know about encryption or how links work or IP grabbers work. So, you know, it's easier for him, I assume, to manipulate people to click on those.
Do you know if like there was any age verification for anything in there, or was it just like if you knew them more, you got into like the kind other shit that was probably hidden from new people?
There was none.
And were there like a lot of talks about I guess NSFW talks where like probably in those chats?
Well, I will say that they do talk about like not safe for work stuff, but I guess most of them are, you know, in those situations, so I assume yes.
Rusty was allegedly a server member of DICE. All screenshots I could find show Rusty doing ironic humor about being and a call. This call gives us some insight into one of the members that was supposedly involved in the server. According to the group members, Rusty is allegedly just 15 or 16 years old. This person, combined with Mortis, goes further to present a reality of a disgusting Discord cesspit. Starting off, Rusty says that if he saw he'd say, yeah, I get off to that.
Because there's some emotional maturity, at least there's some level of knowledge behind one of those.
This is a 6th grader, dude. What? What are you on about? Dude, you're a fucking sophomore in high school, and you're learning about fucking biology and shit. You're working for a job, you're looking for what colleges you want to enter, and a 6th grader barely got out of elementary school, knows barely how to go to the fucking bathroom and... So you're saying that a 12 has more maturity? Oh my fucking god, what are you on about?
It's like, you know, I see it in my school and I'm like, yeah, I'd get off that. How do you do that?
I don't... Fucking Christ, here, let me think before I give you an answer. It isn't mainly for the bits, it's for the emotional bits, because...
Just for the... No, it's straight up that. And you know that. You morally know that. And you know this shit is wrong morally. Dead end.
Around the 5-minute mark, the conversation takes an insane turn, with Rusty openly admitting an attraction to animals.
I think it's just the undying love that animals can give. Sparks living in my head turn into, oh, this is hot. I mean, if they love me, they love me.
Oh, so...
That's my mental process.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Honestly.
I know.
It's like dog and look at their and be like, yeah, I'd fuck that. That's fucked up.
This disgusting theme continues just minutes later, when Rusty elaborates on their so-called process.
Let me ask you, what age dog would you have?
I don't have an idea of ages for animals. I literally just, if they look nice, they look nice. That's my process. My mind interprets in a weird way. It's not necessarily just any dog. If it's a dog, that's mine. If I owned a dog, that's what I would have in my mind.
This is pretty disgusting, as I think anybody would agree. And Rusty would continue with a hypothetical proposed by the person in the call.
You would have with the dog.
If I owned it.
Then we get a pretty insane admittance that Rusty would want to do.
So, when you said that you wanted to have a child with, and say that you wanted to and just have the kid just for it, was that fucking true?
At this point, y'all know everything, so yes.
But that's not all. Rusty would also claim that he wanted to have a romantic relationship with them, speaking of someone younger than them, and also wants to have some sort of a relationship with the dog.
I consider, like, if I hear that, I'll end up, if I experience that, I mentally consider that, well, love, and I don't want to, like, explicitly and we're going to be like I get the mental like delusion that I'm in some form of a relationship.
But you understand that no animal would do that. There's no consenting between you and an animal.
I'm aware of that now that I think about it, because a lot of the things I think are just because I convince myself that that's how it works. Nobody else can convince me otherwise.
Rusty also claims that they were attracted to their 9 to 10-year-old cousin. They also claim that they stole their clothing so that they could feel more feminine, whatever that means.
Okay, I wanted to picture a different reason, but the cousin thing with the physical person, I did want that, but I wanted to picture for another reason.
So you didn't want what?
I wanted my cousin for reasons, as y'all know, but the I wanted because I don't know, I wanted to dress femininely without getting in trouble.
So you wanted to your cousin? Is that the reason that you wanted to?
She was okay. The way she acted was adorable, and I liked her. And that this is some Alabama tier shit.
So you liked a 9 or 10? Okay. So you liked her, like you had romantic feelings towards a not only your cousin, but a 9 to 10-year-old cousin, and you've had.
Okay.
Rusty claims that he's gonna go get help. Whether that actually happened or not, I don't really know. Which I will say that him getting help is pretty good. I think Rusty should get help for these thoughts. It's probably the best thing that he could do in this circumstance. And to wrap up this section, although one would chalk this all up to being weird, disgusting, and intrusive thoughts, I think it definitely adds a layer of context to the server and some of the degenerates that would be harbored in the server. From my knowledge when it comes to the dog talk, Rusty never acted on it. And with a certain minor, there's no real proof I could find with DMs or anything of that matter besides the call. So at the very least, I find this guy to be pretty disgusting. I will say that during the call, it is pretty good that Rusty claims to be getting help. Whether that's true or not, I don't really know. And one side note I do also want to mention is that for some reason, all these people were spamming this person's docs, saying family member names, asking where he works, which I find pretty gross, regardless of who you're talking to. But besides all of that, that's about what I could find for ex-DICE members that either made statements or were straight up degenerates then. There were 2 others in a certain Google Drive, but about halfway through making this video, it apparently is now not accessible. I have no clue why that's the case. Besides all that, I think Rusty and Mortis, as well as testimonies from other members, paint a pretty bleak picture of DICE.org. What was your introduction into DICE?
The friend you talked to, Davis, they introduced me into DICE. So they were telling me about it, about this weird cult on Discord, and I was just like, yeah, I want to check it out. So that's kind of what started it all, is Davis kind of forced me down that rabbit hole.
Gotcha. And he told me, like, you helped him or something like that, is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we both did a lot of shit around it.
Gotcha. And I guess, like, when you started down the rabbit hole, like what was that process like? Like, what did you guys do?
I think what really started it for me, I remember there was this person who left DICE because of just, like, the toxic environment, obviously, but they were doxxed by Mortis, the person who was, I guess, the leader at the time. So it really got me interested, because, like, I don't know, you're just doxing somebody. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Would you remember who they doxed apparently?
Oh, dude, if I could, yeah, if I could. It was so long ago.
So it started out with the whole doxing thing. So did you have any run-ins with Mortis by chance?
I mean, kind of, yeah. I talked to a lot of people who were really high up.
Yeah.
And Mortis knew who I was, knew who Davis was, and shit like that, but never, like, I never really got to message them directly or talk to them directly.
Gotcha. So did you actually, like, get into the server then?
Yeah, that was, like, the main thing I did is I made a alt account and just set in the server and kind of just observed, took a bunch of fucking screenshots.
And I guess what was the server like? Is it really like all it's chalked up to be?
Oh, yeah, it's worse, to be honest. Like, everybody in there is so toxic. Like, not like, if you speak up, you're getting called a slur, something like that, you're done for. Like, do not type in that chat, bro. There was a few more channels. There was a channel just for people posting their self-harm. People would be promoted to post their self-harm, and just a super toxic environment.
And as like a new user, you didn't get access to those channels, right? Because that's what I was told.
At the time, how I understood it is there was several different levels of chats, and I was new. I could see some chats, but I couldn't see everything. I did see channels where people would post, and then there was just like a bunch of like just average Discord channels, like media, shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever talk to anybody named Rusty at all? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, actually, yeah, I do. I have talked to them, yeah.
Okay. I guess like the biggest question, I think I forgot to ask the other person this. I think it was like claimed in this call that's leaked, that he talked to or something like that. Do you know much about that?
Okay, wait. Davis is like, I'm at their house right now. They're right next to me. I'm gonna ask them about this. I'm gonna ask them about this to see. You remember Rusty? Weren't they cool when we first met them?
Yeah, kinda, I guess.
Well, they weren't. Because when we were friends with them, they came out that they were talking to him, right?
Yeah, like all types of different shit.
Yeah.
And so they did actually like talk to them, like.
Yeah. And we were pretty close with Rusty, weren't we? Like they were in our for a little while. They were in our group chat, and like they were chill before the whole like shit came out, obviously. But
yeah, because I do remember in that call that it was claimed that like they wanted to have a baby with this, and then they wanted to like shit or something like that.
Yeah. The more you tell me that, I'm remembering all this shit. Like it was crazy, dude. But like like I said, they were pretty chill. And then all this came out, and it was like I definitely could see that they were the type of person to do that, but you wouldn't be able to tell just by talking to them.
So I guess besides Rusty, did you ever run into Birdie at all? Did you see Birdie in the server on the time, or is that before your time?
Do you remember a Birdie?
I talked about Birdie. Like they only talked to me like once or twice.
Yeah, I never had any personal interactions with Birdie that I remember at all. I just heard from like word of mouth about them.
I did also want to ask, because I know from the last interview I did, I've done like a lot more research too. So I've watched this whole Mortis confrontation. Do you know of a person named Satan by chance?
Yeah. I think I remember a Satan.
Okay. I know Mortis said something along the lines of like they posted a trans person because they wanted people to think it's did you ever see that like go down on Instagram at all? You just saw the call?
Yeah, well, so me and Davis both had a kind of a fake Instagram account that was linked to DICE and shit like that, and we were both pretty active on it. I didn't personally see it, but I heard a lot about it after it all happened.
I guess, was there like anything really illegal in the server that you saw?
Oh yeah, there was photos of Mortis their own dog.
Right, I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, they that's one of the big things that I remember is that coming out. Also, I don't know how much you know. There, to get into this DICE server, or well, to get higher up into the DICE server, there was like a process you had to go through where I guess pledge your allegiance to DICE by you would do graffiti for DICE and take a photo, post it in the server, and you would also have to post photos of like one of the big most common themes for DICE probably is like promoting.
Wait, so did you actually have to do that? Because I know for the other guy, I think I watched his video. I think he did like art and like something else.
Yeah. So I never had to do anything like that because I mean I already knew people who were in DICE, so I just got the invite. But Davis did have to do something like that. I think he just made graffiti on, I don't remember what it was. I think your dresser or some shit like that. And then I think he just like used makeup to make it look like he had
shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
I actually got into a call with Mortis and stuff. Like, to be completely honest, they were just like really young children, you know?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what they were trying to accomplish there.
Were we in call with Mortis? That
Yeah, you were there too.
is that when I said that one thing? Yeah. Okay, what I'm referring to, I could send you the video if you wanted me to. It was we were in call with a few people, like higher ups, and I guess Mortis too, and we were just talking to him. I don't remember. I didn't know it was Mortis, but I was being stupid. I was quiet the whole interview, bro, and I just like all of a sudden I'm like, you know, I'm a little disappointed. I honestly thought Dice would be a little bit more, I don't know, mentally stable than this. Dude, the fucking call blew up. People started crying and shit. It was crazy. But I actually, if that was Mortis, yeah, I remember. Like, I've talked to Mortis, yeah.
Was Dargus a part of that one call that's on YouTube called Fat Fuck, or is that somebody else that was talking along?
The video is called Fat Fuck?
Yeah, the video is that ironically called that?
The ones that are unlisted, yeah.
Yeah, he said yeah.
Okay, so that was him. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, so these uniforms, so do you know if this is like pushed on people at all, or is this just like a meme?
The uniforms? No, I think it's just a meme, to be honest, because I literally, when I was in there, I never really heard about the uniforms. I saw people I saw when they first started making them and they were like putting up designs and shit, but do I believe that DICE, the members of DICE, they wouldn't have put on the outfit if Mortis told them to? I think they would, but I just didn't hear enough about it to actually believe it.
I guess because Dargus is here too. So like when you guys are in the server, so like obviously I don't think that this is a cult, or at least there's just not enough to necessarily use the term. I still think it's really bad. Did Mortis like ever push them like being a god in that server to the point where like we couldn't like dispel it as being edgy at all?
There was definitely like with Mortis definitely a really big like god complex. I don't know. I don't think I remember them ever claiming they had some like a supernatural abilities or anything like that. But they definitely saw themselves as, I guess, on top of everything.
Sure. So you wouldn't say there's any like, this is gonna sound really fucking cringe, but it's just clarifying. From what you saw, there was no like pushing a religion or anything like that?
Not that I know of. There was definitely they were definitely trying to push certain beliefs, but I don't think they were trying to push a defined religion now.
Okay. Do you know what type of beliefs they're trying to push? Was it like just like this more?
Yeah, just like, I guess like something similar to like sin worshippers, where they just do like crazy shit just for the fact of doing it, I guess.
Would you like consider any of like Mortis's actions, or maybe even any of the higher ups as using any manipulation tactics at all?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like 100%, yeah.
Could you name a few examples, I guess?
There was a lot of times where Mortis would post onto their Instagram account about just like talking about hurting themselves just to get like
attention.
Yeah, I guess attention is a good word. Trying to just get people to side with them. A lot of guilt tripping. Just trying to, I guess, push the narrative. I don't know. There was definitely a lot of manipulation in play in a lot of it, though.
And then I guess like obviously there were VCs in there. Was Mortis in there a lot? Do you think like these people were actually like emotionally attached to them?
I don't know if Mortis was in call a lot because like I wasn't that high up in the server, so I couldn't see those channels. But I do think that most of the people are, especially the higher ups, especially the top of it, was they were definitely very emotionally attached to Mortis.
Do you know how you would like even rank up in that server?
I think it was just like spending time being active in the community, and then participating in like making art, doing things for Mortis, posting to a certain degree, just stuff like that would get you higher up.
Do you even know how many people were in there? Was it like a small server?
Yeah, I do remember there was a lot of people in there. I think it was over 100. I know it like easily. I don't have any exact numbers, but it was definitely in the hundreds.
Do you really think this is a cult? Do you think it constitutes enough to claim it as that?
I really think it's just like your definition of a cult, if you want to see it as a cult. I don't think it's anything like a Manson cult or anything like any of the really popular cults. but I can draw a lot of similarities in my mind between like the Dice cult and other cults, or just how they promote a toxic environment.
Okay. And then I guess the last question I'll ask you before it ends is how old were you when you joined it?
I think 16 is how old I was.
That's what I could find about Dice.
No fucking way. Did I just watch this retarded ass video and that's it?
Well, that's the thing. This case is somewhat open. Even with the ample research I did, there's a lot of stuff here for sure, but an actual look into the server is hard to come by. There are chat logs that exist, but to be honest, I don't want to risk accidentally clicking on something bad. That would get me in way too deep into the case.
So, what's left then?
Well, let me put this into perspective. You'll see what I mean. Mortis originally had a Twitter titled 70 Bullets, and eventually led him into a separate group, one that eventually led him into making Dice. Mortis was obsessed with Birdie to the point of doing not okay things to himself. Dice is really not what's advertised. They promote as a family and a cult, when in my opinion there's not enough here, if I'm being good faith, to even call this a cult. Mortis has said and done deranged things, such as the Quo Me screenshots, call where they believe they are a god, and has done some pretty bad stuff to their dog, and even allegedly posted said material. Rusty, another member, holds intrusive thoughts. Though isolated could be fixed with therapy and other means, does paint a pretty grim picture for what the server would harbor. This group had a small revival in 2023, where there's a recording or stream that shows Mortis breaking down and crying, saying it's all over, and that the police are apparently coming. This is the last thing I could find about Dice, and seems to not really have anything in recent times. This personally is as far as I will go into this. After hours of research, the only other possible things you could research really is the server chat log that I didn't really take a look at because one, I couldn't get it to work, two, I don't want to risk something being bad in there. And lastly, obviously there might be some information that is potentially left behind the scenes. But this leaves us to my questions that are left unanswered. Server still around and not being promoted? And last but not least, what happened to Rusty? This is going to do it for the video. Thanks for watching. Check out every person listed for helping me out in the creation of this video. And until next time, it's been Amos. Peace. This is Birdie.
Stop! You're gonna make someone hate me!
This is not something that I can, like, genuinely laugh at.
I'm getting a sense of, like, attention-seeking behavior, to be honest with you.
If you cut off the internet, I'm gonna... You know that! I think I was taken advantage of.
From being synonymous with a disturbing group allegedly scamming fans, to a myriad of convoluted history, the question I pose today is, what is the true story here? As you will see, it only gets more convoluted the more we go on.